Hello, welcome back with another episode of Recovery Dan. I apologize, I haven't been able to shoot a video lately, but lost a few friends over the past month and kind of dealing with that, but I'm back. And again, I'd like to thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your comments, your likes. I always appreciate it. Today, I kind of want to talk about this disease of alcoholism and how it all originated and how one doctor determined that we suffered from a physical allergy. And that doctor was named Dr. William D. Silkworth. He worked at Towns Hospital in New York. And he was a very prominent doctor when it came to alcohol and drugs. And he treated one of the co-founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, which his name was, they call him Bill W., Bill Wilson. And Bill was in and out of Towns Hospital on several occasions. And Dr. Silkworth came and told Bill's wife after his fourth time being committed. And he told Bill's wife in the lobby that Bill was a hopeless case and he didn't even think Bill was going to leave the hospital. He literally thought he was going to die right there in the hospital. But something happened in that room with Bill Wilson. The way he said it, he said a bright light came into that room. And he also said that it was a sound of a rushing mighty wind that entered in that room. And he said he didn't know what happened, but something changed in him. But I can tell you this, from that day, he never took another drink. And he was one of the co-founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, which I think him and Dr. Bob started AA in the year of 1935. I think it was a year after Bill Wilson was admitted, which was in 1934. But Dr. Silkworth, he was the superintendent of medical doctors and did a lot of study in alcoholism. And Dr. Silkworth determined that alcohol was caused by a physical allergy, which we have acetyl and aldehyde diacitric acid, which gives us a surplus of acetone in the acetate, which is a insufficient quantity and quality of enzymes, which causes us to have what we call a phenomenon of craving. That's why one drink equals one craving, two drinks, two cravings, three drinks, three cravings. And that's, that's the way that's allergy work. And I've always wondered why I couldn't stop. And I could be around people and they could drink one beer and be fine. But for me, there was no way I could do that. And I didn't understand, why do I have to keep going? Why do I have to get drunk and pass out? Every time I go to a club or every time I start drinking alcohol, I'm not satisfied until I'm just can't drink anymore. And I never understood that when you have these different things going on in your body, that you just don't understand why you can't stop. But when you have that insufficient quantity and quality of enzymes in you, which causes you to have this phenomenon of craving, you won't know it unless you have some type of insight of what's going on with your body. And I learned this at the Healing Transition of Wake County, Raleigh, North Carolina, while we were in class, and it just amazed me how that they were able to go in depth about alcoholism and drugs. This phenomenon of craving is what we call, is part that leads us up to this vicious cycle. First of all, you become restless, irritable, and discontent. After that, you have guilt, shame, and remorse. So after you have that guilt, shame, and remorse, that's what puts you on that well-known spree. Because, you're so ashamed and you never thought that, alcohol and drugs would take you down that road and just keep you longer than you want to stay. And the loss of family, loss of marriages, you're losing kids and so forth, and driver's license and everything, you just begin to have just mount up problem after problem. And so you have to you have to put something in you. And the problem is that you remember, we have that phenomenon of craving. So we figure, hey, there was a time that you could drink or get high, I guess, and you had some type of willpower to be able to say, okay, I'm done, that's enough. But when you have the disease of alcoholism and you have this physical allergy, you're not like everybody else. I'm not like everybody else. I can't just have one. So, when that guilt, shame, and remorse set in on me, that allowed my emotional barometer, which is your willpower. And if there was a time that, we all had willpower to say no. And what happens when we get that on that well-known spree, and we come to that shame, and we come to that guilt and remorse, we surpass our willpower. We exceed it, because now we're looking for mind-registered success. Because what used to make us feel okay, it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore because that alcohol has taken over, and we have lost our willpower to say no. And because now it's going to take alcohol and drugs for our mind to register some type of peace or happiness that that's what we think we're getting anyway. And that's what keeps us caught up in this addiction. That's that vicious cycle, because we keep going back. You just keep going back. And remember, this vicious cycle, it all begins with that phenomenon of craving. That you have to realize your chemical makeup, you're chemically imbalanced. And that's and Dr. William D. Sitworth determined that with alcoholics. He was interested in why they can't stop. And they just drink themselves till you die, or you get high until you just, you probably kill you, or you lose everything in life. And like I said, when you get that kind of pain going on in your life, you, especially when you get to that point of that guilt, shame, and remorse. And I think that was my biggest hang up, is the shame that I had to carry from suffering from this physical allergy that I had. And that just, the only way I could get any kind of ease from it is to get high and drink. And as much as I could, every day if I could. And that just felt like mind registered success to me, because I didn't have to feel the pain anymore. And but once that emotional barometer started going, and you surpass that willpower to say no, you're off to the races. And that is the exact nature of our problem. The thought is the goat. The exact nature of our problem, the goat. The thought that overrides all other thoughts. And that thought is drinking or getting high, or both. Nothing else matters anymore. Nothing matters anymore, because your willpower is gone. You become powerless. That is the beast in all of it. The thought that overrides all other thoughts. That's why people steal. That's why people do whatever they need to do to get high. you know, you have to think about all the DWIs that come with it, the broken homes that come with it, the losing your children that comes with it, because you're back to the exact nature of the problem. The thought that overrides all other thoughts is nothing but, hey, my next high and my next drink. And you're caught up in that vicious cycle, and it's just, you just repeat it over and over and over and over. The only way you're gonna be able to do something about it, you got to be honest with yourself. And you got to be rigorously honest with yourself and tell yourself, look at here, you know what? I have a problem, and I need to do something about it. But for me, going to the healing transition, I wouldn't have known this if they hadn't. That's what they offer. They educate you about this disease. And it just blew my mind just sitting there in class and learning about this, and they having doctors come in and explaining to us exactly what was taking place. And I was just amazed, and it helped me to understand that, you know what, this is why I was doing what I was doing. This is why I couldn't stop what I was doing. And it just gave me so much insight about addiction and this physical allergy that we suffer from, that we have this chemical imbalance that triggers us and causes this phenomenon of craving that we can't stop like other people. We're not like other people. I've seen people that smoke crack, and the guy that I knew said, Danny, I take one hit and I won't smoke no more for the rest of the day. And I didn't believe it. And I watched him. He did that, and that's exactly what he did. And this guy had, I don't know how much, but he took that and he did not touch it no more for the rest of that day. But and it's just like I seen people take a drink and take that one drink and they're done. But for me, I'll drink it till it's gone. I'm not satisfied till it's gone, because I have that allergy, that I'm chemically imbalanced, and I have that phenomenon of craving where once I start, I can't stop. I just can't stop. And so what happens when you get that thought that overrides all other thoughts every day of your life, you become powerless to the disease of drugs and alcohol. You can't say no. You try your best to stop and you can't, because you know why? With that emotional barometer that we have, we lost that willpower. We lost that willpower because the drugs and the alcohol got worse. It went from that irritable, restless, and discontent to that shame, guilt, and remorse. And we look for something for mind-registered success to make us feel better. And when we did that, we surpassed that willpower, and we gave that up because the drugs and alcohol had taken over and sent us on that well-known spree. But you have to realize the exact nature of the problem, and that is that thought that overrides all other thoughts. And that makes you powerless over this disease. And I'm praying that, I hope this can help you to try to understand exactly what's taking place with you. And it's not just waking up every day and thinking this is what you really want, but you have to realize that if you've been caught up in this for a while and you can't stop, I hope this will help you understand exactly that you're caught up in this vicious cycle. And how do you get out of that vicious cycle? You got to be honest with yourself, and you need to seek help. But like I said, the best place in the world that I could have ever went was the Healing Transition of Wake County in Raleigh, North Carolina. And it's a phenomenal program, and you are so educated that, you know, I've learned so much. And when I did, it enabled me to just, you know, stay sober. 16 years and 2 months, and I've been sober, and I thank God that I was able to learn about this disease and this physical allergy that I suffered from. But that's about all I have for you today. I hope this will help you. You know, if there's any questions, you know, you can You can ask me, but at the end of the day, you have to break that vicious cycle, because you're caught up in a whirlwind. And it just goes from one episode to another one. And we pray that you don't lose your life behind it, because, especially with the drugs and all the fentanyl that they are putting in drugs today, you get caught up in that vicious cycle. You don't know when you might purchase something that could kill you in an instant. It's number one in the deaths of 18-year-old to around early 40s. It's the number one thing that's killing our people today. It's that fentanyl, and it's coming right to our country every single day. And you have to remember, if you're in that vicious cycle, you're subject to come across it at some point or another. But I pray that you can, think about it, and I hope this will help you understand what's going on with you. And with that, again, I'd like to thank you for subscribing. I'd like to thank you for your comments and your likes. And I will be back soon with another video. You know what I always say, you are somebody. God bless you until we meet again.